Hey there, welcome to the podcast. So today we are answering questions. Note, I had already answered these questions in the DM of those that I asked. So I can't tell them to wait till my next episode to get answers. You don't know what they might be going through at that very moment. So I'm just deciding to share this because there's always someone out there who needs to hear. So let's begin. So here is one of the questions, and this was my response. The person asked, what exactly is trauma and how can it affect young adults? What I said, trauma is an experience that overwhelms your ability to cope emotionally, mentally, or even physically. It doesn't have to be like a major catastrophe. It could be bullying, abandonment, even growing up in a chaotic environment. For young adults, trauma can impact how we see ourselves, our relationships, and even how we handle stress. A real question is, what are some signs that someone is living with unresolved trauma? The answer I gave was some signs are overreacting to small things, fear of abandonment, anxiety, perfectionism, or always needing to stay busy. Always needing to stay busy sometimes. Most of us don't even know we are reacting to trauma. We just say, that's just who I am. Meanwhile, it is just, a one that has not been acknowledged. The question is, how can trauma show up in relationships? The answer I gave was, trauma can cause trust issues, fear of intimacy. You might push people away out of fear, or act so clingy because you're afraid to be alone. Our healed trauma becomes the script we keep recreating with others. So yes, trauma can affect our relationships. I know so many persons that are currently suffering their relationships because of the trauma they've not healed from. Another question is it possible to heal from trauma without professional help? The answer I gave was yes, but it depends. While therapy is incredibly helpful, healing can also come through self-reflection. Journaling, setting boundaries. I always recommend journaling. It helps me a lot. Most times when I'm overwhelmed and I start to write about them, it makes me feel better. So I suggest you do more of journaling, setting boundaries, stay away from people that will chuck you down at that moment and keep yourself surrounded with safe people. Yeah. Healing is linear, it's a journey. And there's no shame in getting help. But there are some trauma that is deeply rooted and needs like trained, professionals to handle that. Another question I have is, what's one thing you would say to someone who feels stuck in their trauma? Since I gave was, you're not broken, you are hurt, and healing is still possible, even if it doesn't feel right immediately. But you don't have to have it all figured out to start. You just have to be willing to take one step towards understanding your pain and not avoiding it. The last question I have for today is, how can someone start becoming more self-aware? Okay, this question is on self-awareness. Yeah. How can someone start becoming more self-aware today? The response I gave was, start small. Reflect on your day. What moments triggered you? What made you feel good? Write about it. Ask yourself a lot more, pay attention to how you speak to yourself. The more curious you get, the more clarity you get. So that's all for the question today. If you have more, keep them coming. I would love to include them next time. And remember to be gentle with yourself as we go.